Good evening, folks. It's a very flushed Pom. It's just been kangaroing a wall because had a bath, got even hotter, so hence why that's not a tan, that's just me melting because I'm overweight. So hopefully this will work, and I'll check very soon. There's some faces popping up. Ian, good evening. It's working. I've got comments. Got a new phone as well, so that's even worse. James, how you doing? Love all the stuff you put on the page. We're obviously kindred spirits on the team page, but obviously this is open to one and all. Neil, how you doing? Wayne, how you doing? So for anybody that doesn't know, I have a live feed every other Sunday here from 7 p.m. and all every other week. So next weekend it will be on the Pallatrax team page. Just a quick plug, if you don't know about it, it's a fantastic, friendly and really nice angling community. It's free to join, lots of benefits, and yeah, go to my website at pallatrax.co.uk. So who have I missed here? Steve, how you doing? Colin, very good evening to you. Wayne, how you doing? So I'll let a few more people come on. It's a lovely evening out there now. We've had nothing rain down here. Yesterday was glorious, and today was been horrible, but sun's out and it's looking good now. So got a few questions I'll go through, but just this is one for excuse me. There's a raffle tonight, as there always is. Let me show you the prize, and it is relevant. It is some of my new carp floaters. Some Andre, all the way from some Muslin. I will go through that before, all the way from Slovakia. How you doing? So, see, Milan is knocking it out of the centre. Is that a cider?
Yes.
Oh, I've got a cider and black. I'm being treated. How's your dead Pom? Thanks ever so much for asking, Wayne. It's unfortunately not looking very good. He's back in hospital, and yeah, terrible. Terrible for my mum because she's been married to him for 60 years, so it's not good. But he's had a good life, and hopefully he's still got a bit left in him. But thank you for asking. So we'll try and bring sunshine. You make sure you do, Colin. Sunshine and cakes. No, I'm on another diet. As of Tuesday, I'm starting, I think it's the 17th diet of this year. So let's see if I can break the record. Steve Howlett, how you doing? Paul Bilcox, so just, yes, going back to there. Sue Graham, my wing girl, how you doing up there north? It's lovely down here now. It's fishing its head off. You should be here. So that is tonight's raffle prize. Live feed draw. All you've got to do is send yes to the Pallatrax, not my personal one, which we do on the team, but to the Pallatrax Facebook Messenger page. And if you'd like a chance to win it, just say yes in the comments, fire it through, and we'll draw it towards the end. Lee Jackson, how you doing, mate? You're good. I'd like to see all your comments coming through on the team page. But just quickly, this is Carl, how you doing? John Pierce, good evening. But there was again on the team page, we have exclusive competitions. I know we have a competition on the main page here, but obviously we have a lot of competitions and various things that go on there. And there was a guess what it was, and I don't know who won. I'm going to be told in a minute, I believe. But hopefully you're going to see this. I will. It's all that very good focus. But I don't know if you can see that. But basically, only 2 people got it right. Only 2 people got it right. Hi, John. And drawn at. So guess what? Winner is team member. It'll be back to front, I'm afraid. But can you see it that way? No. There you go. It's Tony Hopkins. And what it is, it's again, all these old tactics that we used to use back in the day that seem to have disappeared. Wayne, how you doing? John, how you doing? So basically that is a load of party blend. So like that. Basically glued onto a cork ball, and what you do is you fish that. You can do it with hemp as well, and tears and things like that. And you fish that literally over the bed of particles. So you're literally matching the hatch. It's a bit fiddly. It's about making a fly. Hi, Robert. Hope you did well today. So yeah, so I will go through that in greater detail another time. But that's the winner of the competition. It's Tony Hopkins, and it is basically particles, red band glued on to a cork ball, which then you weight out as a pop-up, and it just sits over your bed of red band. Really good tactic, bit fiddly. But we'll go in more detail another time. So I've got loads of things here today. So if you've got any questions, do ask. And obviously, because it's on the main page, there's a lot of things happening on the team page. That'll cover a little bit here. But where I was going to concentrate tonight, it's on surfaces. Oi, oi, Scousers in the house. How you doing, mate? Hope you're all well out there. Basically, what really rocks my boat in carp fishing, to be fair, is get all this stuff ready. Is surface fishing. Absolutely love it, especially on the fly rod. Certainly, that has caught me incredible amounts of fish. Being able to literally place my bait on the nose of the carp, especially the bigger ones, and so you see feeding carp, it's just such a good way. And if you don't nowadays with fly fishing, because of shooting heads and things like that, you don't need to brilliant. Where are we yesing tonight? On to the here on the Pallatrax messenger way. I love you, Rini. How you doing? How you doing? Hope to see you soon. I'm losing the track again as well. So you've done that to me, Rini. You've put me off my flow. Kevin, how you doing? Good to you. See you here. So there's a few things I'm going to talk about. I say, butt in if you've got any questions. I'll try to. Yes, we're going to be fly fishing this year, Sue. You know where we're going to be fly fishing in a couple of weeks, methinks. Less than that, I think it is now. So, the first thing I'm going to cover, again, it's a bit of a team thing, but again, it's something that I will be doing a film on with carpology. You've got lots of... Hi, Dan. Hope you're well, sir. Lots of filming with carpology. Me and Sue have got a lot of filming planned, and a lot of it is kind of stuff that... When I had Paddington all those years ago, you know, it was very easy to just... you know, I was there all the day, all the time, and I got that inquisitive mind, and I wanted to catch more fish, and it wasn't just, to be fair, it definitely wasn't just put my rods on the bottom. There was mid-surface fishing, and all different kinds of things. So I'm going to cover a lot of other things like that, and it's really exciting stuff going forward. Joining a new club, this is from Lee. And they take off the top, no monsters in there, but it's just fun. The size doesn't matter, as long as, you know, like on a fly rod, you have a right laugh. Love you too, really. Kim Burrows, good stuff. Yeah, you'll have a right fun, I'm sure there. Need white jungle squats, blank today on the yellow. Well, don't blame the word. Bad word, one blames their tools. Do you mean like that? As it happens. They're on show in a minute, Lee, so we will talk about that. And I'm also going to cover, hi Stephen, Trevor. Right, I'm going to now somehow turn this round, and because this is a bit of a, like I say, something, yes, they're the puppies. So let me just turn around. Darren, good evening to you. So hopefully you can see that is what I call my weed rig. I put it up earlier on the team page because I've had so many people. I only fished 2 rigs, mainly. Don't get me wrong, if you were fishing a different rig next to me, I'd certainly be looking at it. But I fished this, which is my weed rig, which I wrap back into my method ball. So I love 210 mils. I've caught some of my biggest fish on 210 mils, but it's going to be a 14 mil hair and 210 mil hairs. These are going to be team exclusive, folks. So they'll come like that with the shot and everything, exactly as I fish them, and hopefully, I do believe you'll get the same results. So. They will be available as a team exclusive in the next couple of days, folks. So just to reinforce that. So what am I going to talk about tonight? Right, I'm going to start off with a bit of controversy. So you've got to have to play with me here, as tell me your answers, what you think is the difference between that bag on the left and that bag on the right. So come on, guess. There's no prize. There's no prize, but this is something that I think will really highlight where I come from, especially as a fishery owner, a fishery manager, waterkeeper, whatever. So it's anybody guessing what these two are. It's not looking good. Don't be shy. Come on. Don't be shy. Still not offering a prize, Lee. Steve Dorset ingredients. Paul Bill oil on the right is for dogs. And now we've had this conversation, Lee. So yes, left is best. About 3 millimeters. No, looks like dog food, and the other looks like pellets. Well, exactly. I think we've got there now. Lee Jackson leading the charge. Exactly, Steve. And that is my problem. And let me just turn around so you can less cards in the left. This is what, as a fishery owner, and I've always, because obviously I, to be fair, had a fishery quite a young age, I suppose. I'm now getting old. And I had problems and one thing and another, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying all stuff out there is junk, but there certainly is. But there's also, like, I suppose it's like eyes wide shut, where I was like, for example, I had one of my lakes was a trout lake, and when I got there, but they'd put a load of carp in there, the previous owners, so it was really easy to take them off the surface. But because they'd been feeding the trout pellet, I carried on feeding the carp trout pellet. And it's stupid, really, if you think about it, because one's got trout, which is for the stomach of a trout, totally different digestive. A carp's got a digestive tract. So why was I feeding carp trout pellet? That's where I got to, and that's where I am with everything. If it's got a name in front of it that doesn't relate to carp or coarsefish, you're thinking, why are we using it? You know, and is there problems and things like that? There you go, Stephen. Good evening, Terry. So obviously they both do the same thing. So let's go back to our little tank. And don't get me wrong, I used to do this. I didn't even think about it. Didn't think about it in the old days. So let's just turn me around again. So obviously they both do the same thing. So there is a dog pellet or dog mixer or whatever we want to call, chummy mixer. And then you get basically what is a real food source. So it's doing the same job of that, but it's actually designed, hi Jonathan, it's actually designed for carp. This is not somebody we've done it in our, this is proper, fishery regulated ingredients, etc., etc. So if you said to anybody, I would suggest, outside of angling, would you fish on a dog biscuit or would you fish on a carp biscuit, for want of a better description? And I would suggest most people would say, well, you're going to fish the carp one because you're not looking to catch dog fish, but real dogs, not sea species. So that's where I am, and that's I think personally it has to be the better thing. If you're going to fish on dog biscuits and you're going to put a lot of dog biscuits out there, I'm not saying they haven't got value. Of course, fish take them, but they also take a plastic sweet corn. So, like I say, I personally obviously only allow, and yeah, if it's a plug, it's a plug. But I'm sure there's other companies that do these out there. But if you're going to fish on the surface for a carp, use a premium carp floating pellet. Don't use a dog biscuit. Like I say, it's not for them. It's not good for them, and that's why I don't allow them on the water. I'm not trying to push people away because I'm greedy. I want your money for floaters or anything like that. I just want the right thing going in, and it's obviously tested to huge lengths. So it is it Gruber's little tank? Oh, you've got me. Evening Yacht. Is Yacht here? Where's Yacht? He's not here. If he is here, good evening, Yacht. Kim Barrows, love these pellets, Pom. Yeah, well, like I say, I hunt high and low all the time, to find things that are the best. And I've got a different agenda, though I'm in the trade, I've never lost identity as an angler. It's not all about profit. It's more about performance. I'm an angler myself, just like you folks. Hi, Stav. Not long now, mate, to this season opening. Steve saying weather looks good for flow. Yeah. So, well, to be quite honest, Steve, I have caught plenty of fish off the surface in the depths of winter. There was a place I used to kind of know would hold fish, and if you just feed them floaters and they're on the surface, because there's, I think a lot of times people think in the winter they just sit on the deck. They don't. I've literally had them with ice on the water and snow on the ground, and people going, "Oh, you're never going to go." And I've caught not just one fish by luck. I've caught time and time and time again in the winter. So if they're on the surface, Don't think they're only on the surface in the summer. When they're on the surface in the summer, obviously we can see them better. In the winter, grey, you don't tend to see, yada yada. But it's always worth tricking a few in a little spot somewhere around your swim, see what's happening. It is Yacht. How you doing? How you doing, Yacht? Good to see you here, mate. I was only talking to you about you the other day. Down with Sean. So hopefully catch up soon, matey. A Yacht's from Paddington from the old days. So yes, so if you're going to use floaters, yeah, there you go, koi floaters. Going salmon fishing, Jonathan. Never caught a salmon, never fished one, to be fair. I actually had a river with some in at one stage, but used to fish for the grayling. But good luck, have fun. But yes, Steve, exactly. And like I say, I'm always about, you know, obviously I can bring product in or one thing or another, but you can hunt around all the time. For products, you know, like red band and seeds and things like that for years, and you know, we've known they work and they're good, they're natural products. What's James saying? It's what surprises me, these things. Anyone to do, they could even pop into a local aquaculture and get some part specific floating pellets. Yeah, oh, hang on, I pressed the wrong button. No, oh, what am I doing? Oh, tins. Oh, I'm back, I think. I've got really shiny now, then. Oh, it's me and cameras. Do I look all shiny now? It seems I've changed the colour for some reason, dear me. What size bags are you doing on the floaters, Palm? Lee, these are basically a full bag, as much as I can get in, and it's 400 grams. So, plenty in there. But the good thing is, yeah, all good here, James. You'll have to come down and see the new fishery at some stage. The upper layers are much warmer in the winter, exactly. So, you know, and again, we need to be very careful when we, well, Yacht will tell you. This light keeps on changing. I don't know what's going on here. Hi, Andrew. I'll do that, you know, that thing you questioned earlier about the weed rig. I'll do that next week. Holy Pom. So, yeah, I've gone a bit even worse looking, if that's possible. Who have I missed here? Yeah, going back to what Steve says, you know, the koi market is a really high-end market. Fish farming and koi aquatic is very much different, but we're still talking about basically the same fish. If you've got, in the koi market, which is personally I think the fishing bait market, which puts much more stuff out into the environment, should be regulated like the aquatic market. And let me try and do something here. Oh, I pressed buttons again because I can like keep on going white and dark. Oh, you'll have to live with it, folks. Just listen to me anyway. But yeah, hunt around on the net. You'll find some really good. If you know you're looking to buy, like say, a 25 kilo sack of something that will last you, you can put them in smaller bags and you know, make sure you keep them in a rodent proof box of some form, and then you can keep on popping in them. You know, and it's just use stuff that's designed for the species you're fishing, and surely that makes sense on so many levels, from a fishery management level, from a water quality level, and from a fish safety point of view. So there you go, and I totally agree with you, Steve. Where are we going? Let me see. So James was saying something. Yeah, exactly. So you basically say pop into your local aquatic shop and see what they've got. But that stuff is all regulated, so you should be pretty safe. This is obviously my pellets that I've got are through the fish farming market, and best I can get, to be fair, because you know, as an angler I want the best, and as a fishery owner I want the best. I want, if you're going to put pellets in there and they don't get eaten by, you know, when you're there, I want them getting eaten, you know, at some stage, and there'll be benefit. Your peel are very similar ingredients to most koi pellet peel. Like I say, if you look at the koi market, you look at the fish farming market, that's where I go. You know, I can't make all this stuff, but I can get access to it. But, you know, and feel free yourself. I mean, I think, you know, some of the stuff that's in the trade as well, as I've put out there, is not right. Well, dog biscuits. If anybody can say to me, well, it's better than a carp-specific floating bait, well, I'd be very surprised. So, hi Tony, how you doing? So just quickly for those who've come in, tonight's little live feed prize is, and it's all about floater fishing. So some of the floaters, size 10, which I use a lot on surface, the wide gape, and some of this stuff, which is a wax to keep your line on top. So, but before I go there, blocks of bloody worm. Yeah, I don't think they're called bloody worm. I think it's called bloodworm, Lee. You always have to swear and bring the tone down. As I said earlier, scratching micro pellets. Yeah, you've got scratching, you've got coppins, Dana feed. There's so many regulated, registered fish farming products that have crept into the carp scene. It's a bit like, you know, people say to me, well, why don't you, you know, advocate the use of trout pellets? Again, it's at the beginning of it. It's a pellet is not made out of an ingredient called pellet, and if it's called a trout, the trout's got stomach, carp has a digestive tract. Then you've got halibut pellets. Why are we using pellet or food, you know, fish farming food for a halibut, which is a sea fish? And without matter of fact, it's not the right diet, but we are. Pallatrax, that's another good one, Steve. Very good, very high quality. So you can go and look at all these places out there, and pellet is trouble is you've got to buy like 25 kilo sacks and things like that, but if you can get a few mates together, couldn't you, and do it? So have a look online, and you will find so many top quality ingredients, and you will pay less, which can only be a good thing. Right, I'm just going to go through something that the team already know about. That I'm going to be doing a film with Sue. I think it's on the 21st of this month. No, we're doing a practice, and then we're going to do, because it's a lake I've never been to, we're going to go up there and have a bit of a play around and do some other stuff I want to muck around with. But one of the things we will be doing, is especially, that's the trouble, Stephen. You know, people kind of, sorry, I digress yet again, but people, anglers or the trade or whatever, they seem to focus on the word pellet. And pellet's just like, I suppose, like car, isn't it? It's just a description of something, of a shape in reality. It's what it's actually made of. And if it's not species specific, so if it's trout pellet, I don't for a minute suggest you won't catch on trout pellet, but should we be using trout pellet and putting it in a lake which is coarse fish? And so that's the trouble. And that's why I would always push people towards, obviously what I'm doing, but for even better kind of value and things like that, go look at these places, just go into fish farming. You know, there's so much stuff out there that you can see from fish farming, and it's all related to the species specific, and that can only be good for all levels. Why would you want to if you think about the fish farming market, it's not the bait market, okay? So what you're talking about is basically a market that embraces pellets made correctly, because they want to grow fish from that big to that big to that big. So you're going to feed them properly, aren't you? So why would you not use that in your armory? Why would you use something different? It's worse, it's certainly worse than to rot in jail. Oh dear me. But like Stephen's saying, there's so many koi pellets, but the real place to have a look at, I would suggest, is look at the fish farming industry, because all of the ingredients there are for that market to have healthy weight growth. And the one thing you have to realise, or we should be realising, is that these massive pellet factories for fish farming, and we're talking, you know, $1 billion industry, far bigger than the bait industry, all over the world. You know, people are farming fish of all different kinds of species, and like I say, these places are all regulated, and they have to make something that the fish will eat, because if not, they're not going to be in business very long. So food for thought, folks, and what I'm going to do is just show you, some of you folks will have seen it if you're team members. I think these are very good, and there's one that actually the team hasn't. Yeah, there you go. Exactly, Steve. Spirulina, brilliant. It's an algae. You can get it in powder form. I've added it to baits before and had good results. So now this isn't, like I say, I am a multi-species angler, but unfortunately, or fortunately, whatever way you want to look at it, is we tend to focus on carp. I mean, 95% of the applications into the team are all about carp, to be fair, full of vitamins and exactly. So what have we got? So this is the first thing that will be coming, and the team haven't seen this either. So this is basically a pike bung, but I do pike fish. And the nice thing is, let me turn these lights off and see if we can get better. Hang on a second. Can you see that? Tim, can you switch the lights off for me, please? So I've actually bought these for two reasons, and I'm going to sell them because also, so you've got a red float, and you just, the inside there's a little battery. It comes with a battery. Turn that round the other way, and you've got a green float. Oh, he says, stick it in properly. But also, what I like these for is when I'm trying to, and I made a mistake of not taking these to the Quay when I went a couple of weeks ago. You know, to try and get right into the margins, what you have to do is cast one of these as far as over, and then you trot round, or you'll trot round as somebody, your partner's on the rods, and then you cast over this, and then you bring your line in, and you can literally fish and place it right in the margins. So that's what I've got it for, but as a pipe bung. And like I say, the team know I've been trying to source forever decent kind of night lights for all kinds of different areas of fishing. And so I'm now going to mark a float. Exactly, Steve. The list is endless. So can you see, if I put this on, hopefully. Ooh, blimey, that looks even scarier. Can you see? No, I'll tell you what, we'll go back to dark. So this is like a you know, look at my hand shaking. That's not good, is it? But that's some cider. Hang on a second. I think it's probably out because I've been out there using a Kanga this afternoon and it just doesn't stop. So this is almost like a pole float. You put it on using rubbers for whatever species, and what you've got, this comes in two different colours. It comes with two different heads. This is the red one. So in there, I don't know if you can see it, where there's a tiny little battery and a red light there. Okay, so what you do is just turn the battery around, get back in, go onto that, and we are talking proper. These are really, I sad, but that kind of thing really excites me because I love my float fishing at night and things like that. So there you go. Happy birthday, Vince White. It's Matt's, from my fishery manager, Matt's birthday tomorrow. I hope you have a great day. So then we've got like again, these are different floats for different things. This again comes with different two heads. This has got a much bigger battery. This battery is the biggest battery and it lasts 40 hours. So all you got to do now is turn it around, connect it. And so you got the float comes with, you can see they get even brighter, folks. This is a distance for distance, and again, when we do this filming, so we'll really show you how you fully get the benefits of this. So again, you turn it round. I've had lots of cake. Where's my cake, Matt? So you like getting the old lightsabers now, and this is my favourite one. Obviously, team members get a discount, but these will be coming on the main site. Again, same principle. And then you've got another lightsaber. And so fishing at night for me now is possible. Where before I was buying these ones from the only place I could source them from China, kept on falling apart, the batteries were rubbish, etc., etc. These are actually made in Europe. They've got a proper thread in there, waterproof thread. So you just, on all of them, it's exactly the same. And then you just push it together, and the film that I'm going to be doing and showing you, a lot of the folks on the team obviously already know, but night fishing, float ledger for carp, it's very hard to beat, to be quite honest. I'll tell you what as well you'll do, you'll be watching this float and it'll start disappearing and there's no beep on your alarms. And that really shows you how poor bite detection, especially over distance, can be. So there you go. They're coming soon, folks, on the main site, but obviously team members, you get the 20% discount. So it's all rocking and rolling. Right, let me go back to where I was. So have you got any questions, anybody? Still a few of you here. Is it sunny where you are? Because it's, I think it's my lights are a bit too bright, aren't they? I've got them on charge. Oh well, I'll just look Tasty and pale. Oh, and just to let you know, those eye bites. They're called eye bites, and they come. We're going to have all the spare batteries as well. But what I think is brilliant is, on these big ones, 40 hours. I mean, that's a lot of fishing, isn't it? So beautiful here in Scousland. It's been pretty chronic here, to be fair, Scouse. It's without a shadow of a doubt. But it's now sunny again, so not bad here in Derby. Where are you from in Derby then, Stephen? I used to live in Repton, went to school in Etwall. So nice and sunny, stuck indoors, decorating. Get out! I tell you what, the worst things for me is, like, I'm looking out there. There's fish flopping around. There's nobody on bends, and I'm thinking, why am I not there fishing? But work comes first. Work comes first. So right, I don't know. Let me just turn this light on. Oh, let's see if that's slightly better, and I'm going to turn that light off and that light off. That's better. I actually look like it. Everywhere's Chellaston. Oh, there you go. Many years spent on the River Trent for me. All the different blue circle pits up there when I was a kid. So fond memories. Just to give another plug, if you're interested, the raffle tonight is this stuff. So it's a new premium floaters pellet, carp pellet, not a dog biscuit. Some line wax and some of the size 10 grips, which is the Y-gate, which is I basically love my surface fishing, but you can go smaller, obviously. But I wouldn't really love the tent. What's that all about? What are you seeing that I'm not seeing, Scouts? So going back to surface fishing. And there's so many ways to do it, and it was really strange when I was at Pallatrax. I used to do all this fly fishing for, and I'll show you how I used to do it in a minute. But basically, he says that, and now he's lost his drill. But I've got one question that I'm going to go through, and then I'm going to show you exactly how I surface fish, and how many more things you can do that are currently, it's like the dog biscuit, almost nothing. Well, it's not. That's just one thing, and like I would suggest, they're for dogs. Love the trend. You did that. I thought you were talking about camping yet again, Lee. So there, is what I'm going to, let me just have a look. That's what I'm going to spend the last 20 minutes on, but, so bear with me. But I've got one question here from Keith Powell. Keith's catching, it's really interesting because Keith's kind of gone all in on the stone system and how I designed everything, all the different baits and that, and he's reaping the rewards. He's doing really well. So, hi Pom, a question for tonight is around rehydrating air dried hook baits. So we're talking my Pallatrax's HMV freezer baits, which Keith is obviously air drying. I had to switch to hardened hook baits during my session on the bank as I think I made mine too soft and the small stuff was attacking the bait too easily. Is there an ideal time to leave soaking? Should I have just sprayed with boost, etc.? Right, no, I'm not saying you can't. Whoever's entering the raffle, you need to send it to the Pallatrax one. I can hear it pinging on my personal one, and that's only for the team one. So this one, say yes on the Pallatrax messenger. So it's all basically dependent on the size of the bait, to some degree, therefore the shape of the bait, because we obviously do squabs, which are a different shape and different mass as such. They're thinner than, say, an 18mm squab is thinner than an 18mm around boiling. But ultimately what it comes down to, and it's actually, I suppose, it's complex as much as it's simple. Because I use 3 different base mixes. Well, 4 different base mixes. I've got red seed mix, yellow seed mix, my fish meal mix, and my multi-worm mix. I've got 4 different, and obviously they're all different ingredients. They'll all react differently in water. But the key thing is water temperature as well. The warmer the water temperature is, the quicker the bait will rehydrate. Okay, that's just a fact. And obviously each of our base mixes will be slightly different because of their physical ingredients. So it is a bit of a trial and error. Because what I would suggest you do is basically start off because obviously, if you're making the sick and all those kind of things that I do, you want it as soft as possible to break up. But obviously, if you're going to use it on the hook, and you've got seen the people like Sue now, they're making these bespoke hook baits, as we've said. But it really is a case of just monitoring them, depending on water temperature, volume of bait in the water. There's all these things to take into consideration. But if it's falling apart, and the little fish are having a go, obviously, you need to be that much harder for the situation. If you're fishing a lake like my fishery here at Ashton's Pools, because we've got no silvers here, you've only got perch. I want to be fishing a bait that's, when it comes in, that's when it almost falls off. I want it as as soft as possible. So again, it will be dependent on lots of things as well. But if you want something that is going to say that, I think if you leave dependent on size, dependent on the water temperature, things like that, you'll leave it just for a few hours. I would suggest putting water and a flavour if you want to boost it. So a flavour that has to emulsify. An oil-based flavour is no good. And then mix it in, pop your baits in, and then literally, see how long, let's just say 10 baits in a jug will do. So I don't clamp, I glamp. So hopefully that was, of course you can leave them sprayed in my boosters, because my boosters got water content, so it will ingress. I used to do a spray historically until I realised that it was all well and good, but it was only an oil base was only sitting on the outside, and I want it to impregnate the bait. So you can spray them, put them in a bag, and then just keep on checking them until you get to a stage where you're happy. I think that's really what it comes down to. There's a lot of different factors, but it will be down, as I said, to the water temperature, the volume, the size, all those kind of things, and the base mix. So hopefully that helped. Keith, anything else, please let me know. So if we've got any questions so far, there you go. Did that make sense, Keith? I hope it did. So right, let me get this back here, because this is probably all going to go wrong. So I find please don't think, as long as people enjoy fishing, for whatever reason, but I enjoy fishing, catching fish. It's like if I go to play golf, I want to play it as best I can and things like that. I recently had, let me see, sorry, but just read Steve, because Steve's a team member and been doing very well since he left Ashton's Pools. I recently received good results defrosting out of the bag and then soaking in liquids, containing and shape. Yeah, exactly. So all the liquids are sucked in, then defrost again. Day of fishing and coat and glaze of hemp oil to preserve for about a week. No need to air dry. And to be honest, I know Steve's like myself. We've got backgrounds in match fishing, and we're really focused on the bait. Obviously having had the shops and having had the fisheries and having another fishery now here. A lot of people possibly don't realise the importance of the actual hook bait. And if you look at all other areas of angling, there's so much focus. If it's fly fishing, if it's salmon fishing, if it's sea fishing, there's a real amount of focus on the bait, what it's made of, how it's going to work and things like that. So good tip there from Steve, but you do need to take time on baits. And to be fair, like I showed you earlier, you don't make that in 2 minutes. You've got to drill a little hole, you've got to do this, do that and the other. But I tell you what, it's effort, must try harder, as a good mate of mine says. And by doing things like that, you think that just counterbalanced over a bed of nothing else, just particle. We know we're putting out particle for the fish to feed on it, so why aren't we putting it on the hair? Well, we can't put it on the hair because it's too small. We possibly could some of the bigger seeds, but this is a tremendous way of fishing. What you don't want to do is ever think there is only boilies to catch fish, and then don't consider the ingredients, and things like that. I had pizza for lunch, Beanie. Good evening. So that attention to detail, and this is what I'm going to show you. If I can find, I'm going to have to shout out, because for some reason, because I need a drill and I need a blade, and they might be next door. So I'll get Tinny to have a look in a minute. So I need a Stanley knife and a small drill, and then I can get on with this. But right, what I'm going to do is move around. That will trip up the kit. Honestly, Steve, you've got to think, and I was answering a team question earlier about flavours and things like that. doesn't matter how good your bait is. I'm afraid there has to be fish there, or I totally believe. I know there's an assumption to it, but how do all these really big fish, say 40-pound plus, yeah, how do they hardly ever get caught when they're feeding all the time to attain and maintain that weight and grow further? No, there's a little yellow drill somewhere. It might be in that little box on the sofa. Sorry, folks. As always, you need to be a haircut. You're going to come out and see me soon, Kelly. I hope. Hope you're well. Hope your mum's well. Where's the rum? Well, tonight, because it's a bit sunny out there. But bless you for thinking about me. I've got a bit of a cider and black on the go. Right, we're ready. How do I catch a lot of fish on the surface? And this, honestly, as I say, there's never any arrogance. I love fishing. If anybody's arrogant about catching lots of fish, I think they've got a bit of a problem, personally. Like I was saying to start to say earlier, as long as you enjoy the hobby. But personally, for me, I need to catch. And if I was just going to fish on the deck, 365, I would never have caught the amount of fish I've caught. I could be fishing on the drop with maggots. I could be doing this. Whenever you want, Kelly, you're always welcome. You're always welcome. So what I'm going to show is, as I say, the ambiguity for me is when I had Paddington and I kind of started doing this, there was a very, very well known, editor of a very well popular magazine, and I did something they did on Sky TV called The Carp Crew, and he said to me, "What's this about you fly fishing for carp?" And it's like, well, it's not. It's fly fishing using a flavour instead of a fly. He said, "You can't." No, and this guy was well known. And I said, "Well, I'm not being funny. It does work, and it works incredibly well, like with 20 plus fish in a few hours and things like that." Fishing and a haircut sounds good. There you go. So what I discovered, and if you think about it, when a lot of people are drawn to a flavour, okay, so you've got to be very careful of kind of flavour be putting fish off. As I said, a big fish, why we're not catching them is it that they've now got so cute, they've got cute with a line, they've got cute, because it's not about what we see, it's about what they sense. And have they got cute of man-made? You look at multi-worm, which is obviously a very well-known bait now from Pallatrax. There's no synthetic flavour in there whatsoever. It is purely what you can smell, to be fair, and is the huge amounts of silkworm I load it with. So we're not using any synthetics, but it's still man-made. It's still, and that's what I say. There's things like this, which, really make the difference. It gives you another. If you think in areas of angling, there's all different kinds of things. So when I used to have my boats, both in Bermuda and back here, live bait was always the best thing. And then if you then came down to a plastic, you were never catching as much. When I used to fish off of Portland in the race there for the bass, if you didn't have live launch and you just fish the Delta or something like that, you get, it's like 10 to 1. You still catch on a launch, but you wouldn't catch consistently. And I think flavours, like I say, they have their time and place, but is a completely non-favoured or a natural bait the best option for these bigger fish? And I actually think it is. If you see some of the fish we've caught on the snails and things like that over the years, where fish that have never even been banked before. Richie had a 42 from one lake and they didn't even know it was there. So post crash still, thanks Kelly. Right, so here we're going to go. So if you can imagine, there's several ways of doing this, and I'm going to Craze Booster Spray on the cork ball. We'll go. Trouble is, Steve, you've got to be very careful. You've got to be very careful. It won't. In cork isn't. There's an actual element of it of being waterproof. So if you're going to use a cork ball properly, you need to put holes all the way in it, and that's what I'll show you in a minute with this, because then you can soak it, the flavour will get into it. The trouble is, if you just put a booster on it, it'll coat it, it'll smell nice for a couple of minutes, put it out there and it will disappear. And I'm using the flavour, and I can promise you time and time again, because I don't just put a catapult out. That was me putting a catapult, by the way. I always put them in small PVA bags, and so then the ducks, because the ducks know those catapults, as do the seagulls, but also it allows me to have that bird table of pellet all kind of together, and then slowly breaking out. If I shoot, then the fish are spread all over the place. Matt Wise, congratulations on that stonking roach you caught, my friend. Well done. So yeah, and then what you have when you get the fish going confidently first. Okay, so don't as soon as you see a fish take, don't think, oh, you want them to really be feeding, and then they are so much easier to catch. That's just how I found it. So get them confident, have a bit of patience, wait for them to really go for it. But so what I'm using flavours like anglers do on the bottom, because somebody years ago said to me, well, why are you flavouring your cork ball? And this guy was sat next to me fishing on, to be fair, it was Craig, fishing on plum, wild crab, and fishable base mix, cranberry and green mussel, etc. So he's fishing on the bottom with a bait with all those flavours in it. So why can't I fish on the top with all those flavours in it? And without a shadow of a doubt, I can, I've proved beyond all reason of doubt for myself that fish will, like I say, they'll come through 100 floaters and they'll nail that flavour. And their eyes are looking that way and their mouth's there. So they're coming up and they're just hitting that flavour. And that's the reason why I do what I do. But if you want to really impregnate flavours, Steve, what you want to do is what I do, and you just leave them soaking in there. And then £9, that's 10 dear me. You lucky man. Well done, Matt, my favourite species. Still yet for me to get that £10. Anyway, I'll wrap it on. So how do I do it? And there is a way, and there is various products that I will use. My problem, I suppose, is because I develop these products for me, people then can potentially think, he's just trying to flog it. Well, that would be an assumption, because I'm not. I'm trying to catch these fish, and if folk want to kind of embrace the way we're fishing and get that replicate the results, fine. I'm only just putting it out there. Got it with you. Now you're being greedy, Matt. Now you're being greedy. So what I will show you is, like I say, there's various things you can do. Well, there's a whole range of things I do, because there's nothing wrong with that. I've lost it. I couldn't even see it now because it's in the particle. There's nothing wrong with floating out on the surface. Don't be focused on just one bait, and that tends to be a dog biscuit. So therefore, it's not actually for the fish. But there's loads of things that you can float on the top. And here's another one. So this is just like Lee was whinging on about. He should have had some white. So what I've done there, okay, and what you do. Oh no, I don't know if I've. In that box, it's all going to plan as always. In that box is a little. If you can just bring it out, and it's making the colours go all weird here. If I put a light on, there's a little saw in there. So if you want to present a bait properly on the surface, you need to have the gape as wide as possible open, okay? Now this is me, and not paying any cart tax. So what you want to do is, and I'm going to put my thing round here, and hopefully you'll be able to see better if I stick my lights on, bend that a bit, put that light on. Right, so if I'm going to mount well, in this case, a squab, and this is where making your own hook baits is so crucial. If you're just going to get mass produced, you'll get mass produced results, in my humble opinion. So I can do loads of things with that. And again, what you want to do with a pop-up to really get flavour in it is get a little drill and put loads of holes in it, and then soak it in flavour, and then the flavour will actually get inside and it will become much more powerful. So now we are really aiming for that olfactory, and we're also considering, and it's an impossible consideration, that if you overflavour something, does a fish steer away? But what I've seen on the surface is they don't. They actually come to it. But then I've never caught a 40 off the top. Never caught a 30 off the top, to be quite honest. So as you can see, there's a degree of precision to that. So how do I get, because I want as much of that gape as possible, okay, to be open. And I look at the gape from the eye to the point. Yeah, so that's the gape. That's the thing that will actually help me catch fish. To extend the gape, so if I just go to a bottom rig, so if you look at what I've got there, you can see I've now taken it from there to actually even wider, and that's a good reason to have a kicker on a bottom bait. So how do I get it so fine like that, always presented. And like I say, when I go fishing, I'd rather spend time getting it right than spend time getting it wrong, you know. So it all takes effort equals reward. So just I do like the squabs as well, because they're a nice shape. So this is my fantastic piece of tooling. Ta-da! Got a bit of tape on it. It's basically a jigsaw blade, a fine jigsaw blade. So you get your squab, and then you just start. And take your time, take effort. I've actually just bought some magnifying stuff, because I'm struggling now. I'm struggling. So you see now, hopefully, you see that little indent, yeah? And you need to do that. And the next stage is, and I seem to have lost that now as well. Tinny, glue. I was so well prepared. Is there glue in there as well? Because I went back in there with it all. So you just need a dob of super glue, which you then, and I catch a lot of fish. My favourite go-to, there's lots of different thoughts, smaller, bigger hooks and things like that. What else is in there?
Pop-ups, scissors.
Oh, right, I need that.
Hooks.
I need the hooks. That, yeah. So you just dump it all down there. I left something. So yes, so I've got my wide gape, and I would seriously suggest. Now, what's been interesting, and I have to try it, and we'll have to try it. A lot of people are gravitating on surface is using the chods. So the chod is very much you'll know Blue Peter, no, not at all. Far from it, far from it. But I'm still here. Blue Peter's gone. So yeah, so a wide gape is a must with an intern beak, because when the fish strike, they tend to hook themselves. So you'll take your and you'll just get the bit of tiny dollop of super glue. So it's like you're kind of making a fly, if you think about it, and then you can get all these little tools off of. A lot of the stuff I use comes from the dentist industry. So there's a load of stuff in there that you can buy that you certainly can't get in the tackle trade. So thank God you have Tinny. I know. Don't. I'd be in right trouble. I don't know what hell I'd do without her. So then you're literally gonna. To be fair, what I always do, I always tie about 6 foot of fluorocarbon on, and then I do this. And so I'm just going to get that as it's going tacky. I'm going to set it, and there I'm still going to have my floater. So you just need to make sure that everything, when you set it, is set straight, opens the gate, can't tangle, etc, etc. But you need to just, like I say, you need to get everything right, and it takes a little bit of getting used to it, I guess, but you will. You know, now it's started, the glue's starting to go off, the super glue. It starts to stay in shape. And yes, I could tie technically up. It's much easier if you actually tie on a bit of fluorocarbon. So next, so you can just flick that out. You can use it free lining. You can. I don't use this when I'm fly fishing. You use it on any surface tactics. And a lot of people talk. Tilly must have live feeds. You don't leave her alone. She loves it, Aaron. She loves it. She'd be bored without me. Well, that's what I keep on telling myself. So let me just come back round. I'm gonna go all white again for some reason. Oh no, I'm not white. So like I say, attention to detail will catch you more fish. And match fishing, and the match anglers here will tell you that the attention to detail from everything that goes under the water, it has to be, you know, really, really serious. You have to get it right. You know, there's no top match anglers out there winning week in, week out, not focusing on what the bait is, how fresh you like. They feed their own maggots. They make sure they're all fat and healthy. So, yeah, attention to detail. But how have I caught? And if you would say, this is definite, from a time and motion point of view, so how much time I've spent fishing for carp, how much time I've spent, excuse me, how much time I've spent, you know, fishing on the bottom and things like that, and the results, you know, the mathematical results, if you want. I've caught so many more fish. You know, I've caught seriously a lot of fish, especially because I've been fly fishing for so long, I can see a fish feeding and I can literally get it very, very close, if not right on the nose of the fish, or in a position where I see it moving forward, so I'm going to be able to get right on top of it. So how do I fish the flavour flies? So what do I need first? I tend to, put it in the front, right, so we're going to go back around now, stand by. So cork balls. Okay, and as I said before, because cork doesn't naturally take on, you need to use a water-based flavour. Okay, and then you need to put loads and loads and loads of little holes in here. But the first hole we'll put, so just pretend for the moment that has now got full of holes. But then what I'll do is I will dig a bigger hole. And this will hopefully all become apparent. So I'm literally now, I don't know if you can see, I hope you can, let me go away a further bit. So I'm literally, this actually is not, in all honesty, I'm cheap, but also I actually buy like really high class drill bits, like you use obviously in, with a drill. Because you can get really, really high class ones, and you can get them right the size. And this is a little bit too small, but again, I better not shout tinny for my 3mm. But I'm just literally, again, like I've done here, I'm literally again just using, as I say, a normal drill, which I then wrap a bit of that around it, and I even use a 2mm drill bit as a to drill all the way through sometimes. Like so something like, as I say, something like that, I look to pre-drill it, but but if I've not, you need to have a drill to go through that to get your hole to put your hair on it. But again, like I said, you could float that on the surface and make the effort to actually turn that into that kind of thing. All right, so it's just exactly the same. You're just trying different flies, and which is what you do in lure fishing, what you do in fly fishing, game fishing, all these match fishing. You try different things to instigate a bite. Just because they're on the surface is no different to me than them being on the bottom. It's just a level within the water, isn't it? And if on the surface, to expect them to drop down, you're making a huge assumption there. So I'm actually making a hole, yeah? Then I get my Stanley blade, and again, you're taking time, folks. It's all about time, and obviously I've been doing it for a long time. So just on one side, I'm going to make that. So you've got your hole, and then you've got that little sliver at the back. All will become very obvious. So going back quickly so I can clear my desk. Basically, I've got a new phone that's going off. I don't know who's ringing me, but I'll have to wait till then. So these, I take these like when I go fly fishing. So I've got flavours ready, okay? And so what they are, they're my neat flavours, okay? Totally neat flavours, really, really strong, that we put in the boilies and things like that, obviously. And then I take a cup of that, and I'll weigh it out, and then the same in water. So I've got a 50-50 water mix, which will make it ingress better, but it's actually really, really powerful. Really, really powerful. And you can try it different. There's like here I've got Crave, Meat Beast, and Jungle. And you can muck around with your flavours, but say when I do the film, which will be this summer, we think we found a venue to do it. It'll be interesting stuff, because it's when you realise A, how much fun it is, and B, how many fish you catch. It opens up a lot of things for you. So obviously I've got my cork ball, and I've got my size 10, and I've got my flavours. Yeah, so I've got those things, and like I say, I will have in this one, I will have a leader for just Jungle. I won't put Jungle and then put it on Crave, because I'm not saying you can't mix flavours and create new flavours, but for me, there's the Jungle fly, there's the Crave fly, there's the wild crab fly, there's the strawberry. So I just change those about, okay? If you've got any comments about this, folks, do because I say it's not something that I've ever seen, to be fair. The industry tends not to nowadays do some of the stuff that we were developing 25 years ago. I'm getting so old. So on the surface, okay, I'm going to use gamma fluorocarbon. Now, fish definitely have eyes. So you've got to be aware of that. And if you look at fly fishing, when you're fishing on the surface, you know, it's that attention to detail. And the one thing is, if you're fishing, you're not going to be able to see this probably because it is, I've got a load of fluorocarbon. Oh, there we go. I can just see it now. So what happens if you don't use this, okay, which is from fly fishing, this line will sink, and as it, so hang on, this will be easier to see. So pretend this is my line. So what will happen if you put it like that? So you put, I never know how to say it. I'm sure it's muslin, but if you put muslin on it, it will hold it like that, and you'll be on the surface. If you don't, what will happen? And it draws your floating bait into your line, and what happens is you've got this huge loop here of line in the water, and it's not what they see, it's what they sense. And so by having it like that on the surface is a lot better than having it like that, and like I say, it drags this in as well. So when you're using fluorocarbon, especially for this kind of thing, what you need to make sure is muslin is also brilliant for float control. Exactly, yeah. So used to do this back in the 80s and 90s. Always end up with a thick skin of glue on my fingers. So fluorocarbon, pull it one way, and what you're doing is you're stretching the molecules, and it'll flatten it all out. Okay, and I normally have a span. You know, so you're talking about there's all kinds of things, but I won't do it for now. But you're talking about 5-6 foot of fluorocarbon. And then what I do, if I'm free lining, I'll just do an Albright and connect it, you know, connect it like that. So, but what we're going to do now, so what I'm going to do is take my fluorocarbon, which I've stretched out. You can, I would suggest not doing it in a knotless knot and then cutting it, because you'll be apparent in a minute. So I'm just going to do a quick 6-turn grinner onto my float there, my cork ball. You know, it's that simple. I don't go personally for any of these fancy rigs, because they're too much hard work, and I've never lost a fish using this. So again, like you always do, you get it to that state, and then you basically put a bit of saliva, because obviously that phone is ringing to us, and just pull it gently, but really gently, because you don't want to bring out and, you know, basically burn the molecules, which is what you're doing. So just pull that tight, feed that through. Just get something to pull the hook on, because I've got a hook pull here, because I didn't think that far ahead. These are great. Just use a pair of scissors. I think we're buying anything to keep stuff cost down and make it easy, life easier. So hopefully you can see. All right, and now I'm going to trim that off nice and tight. And one thing what happens here as well, if you're worried about your knot, you're going to use a bit of glue in a minute. So you can see there's still two big, there, that's better. So it's still there, but it's nowhere near. Now, this is the thing, this is the difficult thing. Where's the hole? There's the hole. So let me just check again. Is that right? So, is that the one with the cut in it? I don't know now, folks. Well, no, that's it there. So to say, what you want to do is drill loads of holes, yeah? And then the flavour will really ingress. Now, what you've got to do here, you've got to be really, really, really careful. Because again, you're trying to, you could glue it, like I say, but here, because I'm fly fishing and I'm really whipping it, I need to have something more. So I've drilled that little hole in. Now my hands are all covered in glue or whatever. I've got the slit, and so what I'm going to do is I'm just literally going to gently, and I've been doing this for years and I'll still make it sometimes, like probably have a little bit too thin. So I'm literally, again, you know, that attention to detail I keep on going on about. You can't do this. I've seen some people try to copy it, and what they then do is it's not the same. And if it's not the same, it's like when people, you know, tie a Ronnie rig and then somebody else has tied a Ronnie rig. Unless they're exactly the same as the person who first designed the Ronnie rig, it's not the Ronnie rig. So I'm literally, as you can see there, So it's just got, let me just try and, what's going on here? Oh, that's a bit better. So if you can see, okay, this is actually recessed now. Okay, so the eye is in the hole. A lot of people worry about how this floats. Promise you, you really don't want to. You really don't want to. And what you need to do then is you then need to push that line back into the recess. Okay, it's a lot easier under a spyglass, but you need to have everything set up. All right. And again, you look at the gape there, you've only got a little bit of there, which is not dissimilar, if you look at it, stab myself, to the squab with there you've got the recess drilled down, here you've got it in there. So you're still having the same amount of gape. Then you would basically a blob of the old super glue, and then you'd let that dry, obviously. So you'd have this with loads of holes. These are really good, these little tools. They're from dentistry, so you go onto dentist tools and they cost nothing. You know, they're all stainless steel and things like that. So you can fiddle around and get it all right. I say I learnt this from my fly fishing. You know, there is stuff out there that doesn't feature in our market, but it's really useful. So again, folks, have a look at all the dentist tools out there if you're going to do this kind of stuff. And so what I would then do, I would then take my muslin, and it's got little kind of wipe inside it. Okay, and it's basically a wax. I know people, they say they use Vaseline and things like that, but this is specifically, it's odourless, and you're literally going to just push it through, pull it through like that. Not, you know, this is really gentle, because you want to load it with the wax. And you take that, you know, I'd do about 6 foot of that, and then I'd obviously check it all. So let's just throw it in half and see. These floaters everywhere. You get them out of the way. We'll go back to these floaters in a minute as well. So I don't know if you can see that, folks. Can you see that? So you see the lines just now across the surface. If I didn't do that, if I didn't use this wax, as I say, that would sink, it would pull everything out of shape, it would take it back towards your main line as such, and that definitely, because I've done this so often, if you have that sinking line, they just detect it, and don't think they can see it. It's what they can detect through all of these different things, well, these different sensors that go on. So, and then what I tend to do is in here, I would have, let's just say 10 mil cork balls. I do tend to fish with 10 mils. I do sometimes cut them into different shapes, but to be quite honest, when you're using a hook with an intern beak, they literally hook themselves. It's dead exciting seeing them come up and you're off and running. So then, like I say, I can have 10 of these different flavours, and I would put 5-10 cork balls in them. They've all got the holes pre-drilled in them, but not the main hole, because you do that, that's the thing. And what you do is you put them in there, take them out, air dry them, put them in there, air dry them, and then when you cast out, you just dunk it in there as well. And so you've got this intense flavour, and I promise you, you'll be, you know, with, like, say, I mean, I like to fish like a 1.75 when I'm surface fishing, because I get that flick and one thing and another, and you'll catch huge fish on a 1.75. But like I say, it's the devil's is truly in the detail, and, you know, it looks nothing, does it? But that there has caught me more carp through a time of motion than any other bait. So you've got to think of bait. If you're going to throw it in the lake, if it's a lure, that's no good for anybody, the angler, the environment, the fish, the water quality, etc. So things like that is a lure. So you're luring the fish in, isn't it? So it's not a food source bait, HMV or anything like that. You're literally using a flavour like you would change a lure, like you would change a fly. And it's incredible when you get the right flavour on the day. That's the thing, you know. I mean, Jungle's caught me probably the most fish, and you know, very powerful, and they just come through it. It's amazing to see, and hopefully, you know, we've got this new water we've got access to, or I've got access to, and we're doing some fishing on there, and we believe they will come on the surface there. Some, you know, I've got my own lakes here. I don't just want to be pushing mine. That's, you know, we could surface fish here and obviously make life easier, and we probably will do some bits and pieces. But like the carpology film will be on a water I've never fished before, and I'm very, very confident, because it's like a golf swing. If you take, you know, these refined kind of approaches, whatever lake you go to, it works the same. It's like I say, it's like a golf swing. If you go from one golf, you know, yes, you've got to take various variations, but not many. So let's just go back here, because I think you'll find this interesting as well. Because like I say, we were very accepting, possibly because of the trade, possibly because of whatever. But what is also good with these, see, this is still solid. Okay, but that is literally like same pressing, it's just going to a mush. What you can do with these as well, folks, is you can literally, again, you can put them in a water flavour solution and obviously flavour them as well. If you're going to fish these like with a pellet wag or anything like that, it's not just all about carp. There's lots of things you can do with that, knowing that that is made out of something good, and that is made out of something, I'd like to think, good for dogs, but it certainly isn't made for fish. Hence why it's called a dog biscuit. This is called a, well, obviously I've got floaters. That is just my name, but ultimately they're a premium carp floating pellet. So what would you be more confident in catching on? One for thought, food for thought, but certainly that's... record roach was recently caught top on the fly. Yeah, there you go. It's like I say, we've got to think outside. We're actually not thinking outside the box. What we're doing, we're going back 25, 30 years when we were doing all this kind of stuff. And now, you know, the trend is obviously for a lot of people just to sit behind their rods. But if you see them on the surface, you need to be fishing for the surface. If you see them in another swim, you need to be, you know, and little things like this we use. I mean, I don't know if anybody's used those. When you're free lining, sometimes it's really difficult to see, so you can actually put on one of these little sighters. They're used for trout fishing, to be fair, and that becomes your float. And so you're really refining things down. You're using things that aren't in the carp scene. You know, why? I don't know. You know, I think that's a must if you're surface fishing, obviously. And little things like that can give you an edge for sight. So that's how I surface fish. I'm going to do a carpology film on it, so, you know, hopefully it will be in more detail and you'll see it in action and how exciting it is. But that's me. That's me done for tonight. So thanks for everybody. I've just got to get the tin. She's forgotten to draw the prize. Hang on. Oh no, here she comes. Here she comes running in. She got a red face. So tonight's winner of the, well, it's actually because I've used that one, so it's a new one of them. 10 of the Wygate size 10s, which I use in my surface fishing, and that's something that plays in my head all the time. Why am I prepared to use a size 10? Why don't I use a size 10 on the bottom? One of those things for years and years, that is a bit of an ambiguity for me. You know, every day's a school day. Thanks, Lee. Thanks, Wayne. So that is the prize, and the winner of this surface pack and the new floating pellets. I'm not sure the new floating pellets are on the website yet, but the winner is one John Pierce. If you're still here, John, congratulations. You have won that little packet of goodies. So please PM me, Simon Pomeroy, on Messenger with your address details, and I will get that prize off to you on Tuesday. But thanks ever so much for so many of you staying with me for so long. Really appreciate it. If you've got any other questions at any time, you know, you don't have to be a team member to phone me up. Lee Kelly, so near, wasn't it? John Pierce, Lee Kelly, so close. So anyway, there you go. John's still here, so there you go, John. Congratulations. Just send that, your address details, please, to my private messenger page. Next week, I'll be back on the team page. We'll be drawing the major competition. Thank you, Robert. Thanks for everybody for here. Like I say, any questions, you can always PM me, you can always phone me. So thanks for your time, folks. Have a great rest of the bank holiday weekend, and I'm going to go and do a bit of kangaroing while it's still daylight. So stay safe, folks. Catch more fish, and I'll see you all later.